See, you've done it again.
This is 9 News with Davina Smith.
Good morning. We start with breaking news from Sydney's northwest, where a lengthy high-speed police pursuit has come to a dramatic end with 2 suspects in custody right now. Sophie Walsh joins us in the studio. Sophie, the news helicopter captured this whole process. It was terrifying at times.
It was, Davina. You were watching, I was watching. The newsroom held its collective breath as this driver took multiple chances, really dangerous chances. It's incredible when you see this footage that no one was injured. It was an hour-long high-speed pursuit through Sydney's western suburbs. This is the moment, just there, the suspects were arrested after crashing into a traffic light at North Rocks, just outside North Rocks Shopping Centre. Now, we know there were 2 people in that car, a man and a woman. At this stage, we don't know who was behind the wheel, but it was a Hyundai with Queensland plates. You can see there, police dragged them out onto the ground before arresting them.
And they were okay, remarkably, after crashing at high speed.
Yes, yeah, and Davina, as I mentioned before, multiple near misses this driver has taken. We saw them swerving onto the wrong side of the road multiple times at high speed. As you mentioned, this pursuit was tracked by our Channel 9 helicopter. Frightening to watch as that driver swerved onto the wrong side of the road multiple times. Incredible when you see that vision, as I mentioned, that no one was injured. The chase began in Sydney's southwest around 10 a.m. this morning following a crash. You can see in the pictures the front of the Hyundai is smashed up. At this stage, we don't know what caused that crash or why that driver took off, but you can see that they were fleeing from something. They did not want to be caught and they were flying, also driving recklessly with absolutely no regard for others' safety as well as their own. So they started on the M5, they got off at Bankstown, moved through Bankstown and Chipping Norton, then started heading west. Police in pursuit, Polair also following their every move. The newsroom, as I mentioned, we watched this unfold. Davina, you were live on air. Incredible to think that no one was seriously injured as we saw that car come within centimetres of other drivers speeding through roundabouts. Police almost catching them at points, but then them getting away and taking off again. They headed onto the Great Western Highway, the M7, M2, then onto Windsor Road, Old Windsor Road, where they made their way towards North Parramatta before that final dramatic crash into traffic lights at North Rocks. Police hot on their tail. They pulled them out within seconds, cuffing the suspects, taking them away in a police van. We are still waiting on an official update from police on what sparked this pursuit, but a dramatic pursuit, dramatic chase through Sydney's, southwestern and then into western, northwestern suburbs. Incredible, Davina, that no one was seriously injured and they didn't, collide with any other drivers on those busy roads.
And this was the moment it all came to an end, which was just extraordinary. It looked as if the vehicle had free rein, and yet police, unmarked cars, marked cars, swarmed around it within seconds of the crash. The female passenger, we understand, they're being taken away in cuffs. There was a man as well that was seated underneath a traffic light, both now in police custody. We understand that potentially is the driver of the vehicle. But as you mentioned, there are still a lot of questions about how this started, why this started, and why they didn't stop for police. So as soon as we get an update from officers, Sophie, we might bring you back to get some more information, because a lot of unanswered questions and everyone collectively held their breath as they watched that this morning. Thank you. Well, overseas now, there's been a deadly shooting in downtown Auckland. We'll take you live to Kim Baker-Wilson, who's there. Kim, good morning to you again. What more do we know at this stage?
Well, police have just held a briefing. They have managed to update us with a few more of the puzzle pieces. We're going to come to that shortly. But
still to come, roads turned to ruin during peak hour. So what was the cause of all the chaos? How your genes could be the key to protecting you against COVID. Plus a tight start for the 4th Ashes test. All the highlights from Old Trafford next. At least 12 people were killed when a bus plunged into a ravine in a remote area of Peru. 15 people were left injured in the horror crash that saw the bus fall 200 metres. It was travelling through northern Peru to the capital of Lima when the accident happened. Well, the 4th Ashes test is evenly poised after day 1 at Manchester. Australia 8 for 299. Almost all the Aussie batters made a start, but none went on for a big score. Sam Jordan reports from Old Trafford.
Well, in an Ashes series of so many big moments, one just didn't arrive.
Symptomatic after infection. We'll have the weather details next. Returning to that breaking news, you've seen the pictures from the air of that dramatic police pursuit through Sydney's southwest. Well, these are the first images we're getting into the newsroom now from our crews on the ground who were there seconds after that vehicle crashed in North Rocks in Sydney's northwest. One of the suspects there being taken into police custody. Now, around the huge amount of material that police have seized from that vehicle, we understand 2 firearms have been taken from that vehicle and 2 people have been arrested. The dramatic arrest that happened after this hour-long pursuit from Sydney's southwest through the northwest. We might go back to those first ground pictures that have just come into the newsroom, and you'll be able to see close up the arrest that took place. 2 people in custody. That's the point of impact and the end of the crash. The female that is also in custody along with the male there after this chase that started at 10 a.m. this morning in southwest of Sydney, ending in northwest Sydney at North Rocks. On one side of the road there is a shopping centre, on the other side a school. 2 people in custody right now. Police, we understand, have also seized 2 firearms. So more to come throughout the course of the day. We still don't know what sparked this chase that weaved through Sydney for the last hour, but we will bring you more details as they come into our newsroom. A quick check of the weather now around the country today. Brisbane heading for a top of 22 degrees. It'll be sunny, mostly fine in Sydney and 19 degrees. Canberra 12, Melbourne 13 degrees, Hobart 14, cloudy in Adelaide and 16 degrees. For Perth, a nudge warmer, 17 degrees, and Darwin clear skies and 32. That is Nine's morning news. We'll have the afternoon news at 4 o'clock, 5 p.m. in Adelaide and in Perth. I'm Davina Smith. See you soon.